Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Have you heard this FUD claim? XRP is too volatile. I'll tell you what, that's up there. Perhaps my favorite all-time FUDster claim would be that XRP is just too gosh darn fast. But too fast to be of any real value ultimately, which is such a bogus argument. But in this one, a Ripple executive is just slamming the concept of volatility of XRP being an issue here. Now, this came from, well, two things. So there's originally an article, it's a Ripple Insights blog, and it is indeed, they call this a blog. The title is just Insights, but if you go up here somewhere, where is it anyway? Under Resources and then Blog, that's where you find the Ripple Insights, which I always find fascinating, but this is a new one, and it's titled, Do the Math, XRP is 1/10 as volatile as fiat for cross-border transactions. And then Brianne Madigan, she is, what's her title? Global Institutional Markets at Ripple. She was formerly working at Goldman Sachs. And so then she ended up moving over to Ripple. And I've actually had videos on that before. It's always fascinating when people from backgrounds, especially their financial backgrounds, traditional finance, or even if they just come from a big tech company like Facebook, it's always interesting, or if they're regulators, whatever it is, something big like that, it's always interesting to see them swerve their career path into the Ripple lane, as it were. And so she tweeted something out, which ended up getting covered in this piece here. And again, XRP is 1/10 as volatile as fiat for cross-border transactions, Ripple. So I'm going to be diving into this piece. I've also got a bunch of tweets that I want to share with you from the XRP community. Some of them I actually originally intended to cover in my last video, but it just went way longer than I thought it was going to, so I just was like, I have to cut this off, and I apologize. I was like, sorry, but some of these I'm going to have to save for the next video, but I'm going to follow through on that promise. It will be here. And then the last thing I'm going to cover, and this is just like clockwork, it makes me like kind of chuckle, but it makes me giddy inside. I get to look forward to this every single month. Look at this. From Daily Hodl. 1 billion XRP released from crypto escrow as Ripple prepares for November sales. Every single month this becomes a story, even though everybody in the world of crypto and these crypto media analysts have to know that every single month there's going to be a new billion XRP released from escrow, and then some will be sold, very little bit of it, and then the rest goes back into escrow. Oh my God, why is this an article? But it's conceptually, it's funny to me, so I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I have to highlight this. Now, before I speak any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It does a body good. Trust me. Ripple's team today substantiated on CEO Brad Garlinghouse's claim that a typical XRP payment has one-tenth the volatile exposure of cross-border transactions. Brianne Madigan, head of the Global Institutional Markets team at the leading blockchain firm, underscored talks of volatility surrounding its in-house token XRP. I hate it when they word stuff like that. It's just not accurate. Anyway, in-house token XRP for fiat payment flows in her tweet, which read, quote, digital assets have an unfounded criticism around volatility. So we crunched the numbers and found that a typical XRP payment actually has 1/10 the volatility exposure of a typical SWIFT payment. Hashtag do the math. Which, by the way, it just hit me. I think do the math was an old slogan for Atari's Jaguar video game system. I remember that from when I was like 10 years old, like 1993. I'm 36 now. I'm almost completely certain that was Atari Jaguar's slogan. Or motto, or tagline, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Ripple and XRP have been at the receiving end of recurring criticism, and in an effort to debunk this once and for all, the team conducted a study on the latest edition of Ripple Insights, which was titled Do the Math, and concluded that XRP is 1/10 as volatile as fiat for cross-border transactions. While taking into account the juxtaposition of two payment nodes, one of a typical fiat transaction by the archaic SWIFT, and the second by XRP as an intermediary under three different types of market conditions. The last full month, a rally and a period of decline. Ripple's team deduced that while XRP takes mere seconds to conduct an international transaction, the same is not the case with SWIFT. In terms of volatility, the study stated that the digital currency is risky only if it is held for a few hours between the transaction processes. It said, even during a highly volatile rally period, XRP must still be held for an hour versus the seconds it's normally held to attain the same volatility as fiat payments. The team went on to claim that Swift managing to substantially reduce the time taken to clear international transactions is highly unlikely. The researchers at Ripple concluded by stating, quote, and I like this one, check out this quote, ultimately, the speed of an XRP transaction means that transaction partners are in and out of the digital asset so fast there's no need to hedge. The resulting risk is much lower with a digital asset and is one of the reasons companies like MoneyGram have been so effusive about the advantages of Ripple and XRP. Exactly. And if you're a bank or a remittance company, financial institution, moving money around the world, utilizing XRP as a bridge currency is not some substantial risk to you. Market makers are the ones that assume the risks. Those are the business entities that make money off the buying and selling of XRP in transit. That's it. And they, by and large, don't even care about the price of XRP. As long as there's a business model where they can perpetually make money off the buying and selling of XRP, the price of XRP to them specifically is immaterial. Now, to speculators like you and I, it matters very much because we're here for very different reasons. We're not making money. If we're not traders and we're not market makers, we're not, our whole intent is to make money on the speculation of XRP, not the buying and selling of XRP. Just completely different purpose there. Anyway, the team chimed in with hashtag do the math, Atari Jaguar. A hashtag a hashtag which may be a bookend in the controversy that arose after Ripple's CEO commented that XRP transactions ensure lesser volatility risks compared to fiat. At the Economic Club of New York, Garlinghouse had previously stated, quote, if you multiply 270,000 seconds, that's one day, in a low volatility asset like fiat, and you compare that to 3 or 4 seconds in a highly volatile asset like XRP, it turns out you're taking less volatility risks with an XRP transaction. So there you go. They actually crunched the numbers. That is awesome. And you can see it actually goes in even more detail. Just for the sake of time, I thought it made more sense to cover the specifics, which were properly highlighted in that article. I thought it was a good article. If you want to read through this, you can read every single specific of what they covered to reach this, but I didn't think it was necessary for the purpose of this particular video. Do the math, Atari Jaguar. And by the way, that comes from Atari Jaguar allegedly had 64 bits, whereas its inferior competitors, as Atari positioned it, had mere 32 bits. I guess that would have been what was at the time the original PlayStation and Sega Saturn. I remember that. What 10-year-old boy is not into video games, right? So let's hop into some tweets from the XRP community now. And this is from Stone Hodl. Check this out. That's how I'm supposed to say it now. Stone Hodl XRP. And tagged me and fellow XRP YouTuber Digital Asset Investor. He said, I'd like to clarify some pronunciation. Stone Hodl XRP. Thanks. And he's got the little laugh emojis. And I do, and I appreciate all the stuff you tagged me, by the way, Mr. Stone Hodl XRP. Now, here's the thing. HODL, HODL, is a made-up word. It is a fake-ass word, my friend. It is not real. So if you want to say hodl or you want to say hodl, you're not right and you're not wrong. It's not a thing. It's right. It's not in the... Okay, fine, you could say technically all words are made up, but what I'm stating is this is not something that's in the dictionary as I sit here recording this. Maybe that will change one day. Perhaps it will. But as it stands now, there's no proper pronunciation of it. And that's why it's so funny just watching crypto Twitter argue over how it's pronounced. So... I say, my stance, I'm going to take a stance on this purely for the hell of it. There are no facts behind it. I'm going to do it anyway, which is something outside of my normal behavior, but I'm going to do it. I say it's hodl, because when I look at that, if I saw just H-O-D, I would not say hod, I would say hod, and you add an L to it, I still say hodl. That to me, that's just what makes sense, so I'm going to say it's hodl, but since it's your name, if you, sir, want me to pronounce that part of your name incorrectly, since it's your name and you get to say your name's pronounced, I'm going to honor that. So you are Stone Hodl XRP. Outside of that, I am always going to say hodl, though, because I'm a stubborn moon Lambo. But no, thank you very much for correcting me on how you would like it to be enunciated, and I appreciate all of the things that you tag me in on Twitter. Good sir. Thanks for watching. So here's another tweet from him. Tagged me in this. Lambos are cool, but have you considered the R34 Skyline? Sex on wheels, my good man. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing about that. Moon Skyline just doesn't have the same absurdity as Moon Lambo, because in terms of crypto vernacular, win Moon, win Lambo, that's a thing, but not win Skyline. So, hey, whatever cars you like, anyway, that's, not exactly necessarily my go-to. I do like, there's certain brand, okay, I even like some of the exotics, not that I'm huge on Lamborghinis, but they're kind of cool. I like Maseratis, even though they break a lot, or at least that's what I hear. There's all sorts of cool cars like that. The Skyline, this one, to be honest, I haven't really looked into, but it looks nice in the picture. That's all I can say because I really don't know anything else about it. But to each their own regardless. I can appreciate cars, even though I really don't know how they freaking work. That's okay though, right? I don't even care how they work. I just want them to look pretty and move fast, right? All right, and then I got this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Ripple's global head of infrastructure innovation, Dilip Rao, offers a regulatory framework to guide central banks in the selection of digital token attributes to solve for domestic financial inclusion, with a specific focus on economies challenged by poor banking infrastructure. So here you go. Here's Dilip Rao in this little screen grab. Let me blow it up right here. And here's the quote. But how do regulators and central banks gain insights into these emerging economic models and the underlying technologies, given the number of variants, crypto assets, stable coins, bank coins, CBDCs, private coins that now dot the landscape? If they do settle on a model that could solve a major problem or enhance their financial ecosystem, how would a central bank select the most suitable technology to build and operate a token-based solution? And again, that's Dilip Rao, Global Head of Infrastructure Innovation. I think that's a cool quote. And XRP Crypto Wolf, thank you very much for sending this to my inbox. I very much appreciate it. All right, that I already ran through. That was just a Brianne Madigan's tweet there. Didn't mean to have it open in 2 tabs. And check out this one, Stone Hodl. See, you're in like 3 of my tweets in this video because 2 of them I meant to cover in my last video and I didn't get to it. But check this out. So here's a tweet from fellow XRP YouTuber Kevin Cage, who asks, at what price would you stop buying XRP? 30 cents, 50 cents, $1, $3. Stone Hodl XRP, who likes his name pronounced incorrectly. I'm just ribbing you. Kevin Cage, he writes, Kevin Cage, I'll stop buying it as soon as I start getting paid in XRP, and then take me into digital asset investor. So what would be the number for you? Because for me, it's not necessarily a specific number. At some point, yes, I will tap the pause button on my purchases, but I think probably for me, it might just happen when we have a huge parabolic run-up, but if you do start having a very slow creep, and I don't know that it's going to play out like this, but just hypothetically if, say, crept up over the course of a year or something from, I don't know, what it's at now, just shy of 30 cents to, say, $1, at some point, maybe I would start to feel like, okay, maybe I just tap out. Because the honest truth is, I've had far more time to acquire XRP than I ever realized I would, thanks to the bear market. And so whenever it takes off, I'm not going to be crying. I've had my opportunity, I've taken advantage of it. So that's how I feel, but you can tell me how you think below. I'm sure everybody's got their own opinions on when it makes sense to, maybe tap the pause button on buying, right? All right, last piece in this video from Daily Huddle. 1 billion XRP released from crypto escrow as Ripple prepares for November sales. What? Where did this come from? I've never heard of something like this. Said nobody ever in the world of crypto. We all are aware of this. Still, here it is. 1 billion of Ripple's XRP. Oh my God, it's not Ripple's XRP. Oh, wait a minute. In this case, wait. I take it back. I normally harp on that. They used it correctly. Wait a minute. It's just like, it's such a habit. You know what it reminds me of is when I was watching the Simpsons episode just popped in my head where Lisa did something wrong, and then Marge goes, Bart, no, or something like that. And she's like, what? I didn't do anything. She's like, sorry, force of habit. That's kind of what just happened here. 1 billion of Ripple's XRP has just been released from escrow. That's true. They were referencing that XRP which Ripple holds. They did it correctly. I'm just so used to them saying Ripple's XRP as if the whole distributed ledger technology was just Ripple's, which is factually incorrect. So, hey, whatever. Habit, man. You got me in the habit, though. Crypto media, you did that to me, all right? The move is part of a monthly schedule that grants Ripple access to its cryptographically escrowed holdings of the digital asset. Ripple locked up 55 billion XRP back in December of 2017 and set a release schedule of 1 billion XRP per month. The move was designed to assure investors that it will never sell all of its holdings at once. So there you go. There's a whale alert. Surprise, surprise. It's the first of another month, and a billion XRP Came out of escrow. Whoop-de-doo. It's going to happen again next month, boys and girls, and I'm going to cover it. That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!